Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Bexar County Court of Law number 6 in the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court. I'm Judge Wayne Christian. Today is Thursday, the 30th of June, 2022. We have our plea docket this morning. The first case I have set for plea is cause 647-655, State of Texas versus Jerome White. Excuse me, Alana Rosado, representative of Mr. Jerome White. Would that be correct, Mr. White?
That's correct, Your Honor, and she's right next to me.
Okay, super, thanks. Representing the state in all things, Assistant Criminal District Attorney Johnson Heinrich and Karina Sanchez. I don't know if Karina's with us this morning. The first document I'm looking at with regard to this case is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference that purports to have both Ms. Rosado and Mr. White's name or signatures on it. In fact, Ms. Rosado, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. White, as attorney for Ms. Rosado, is this also your signature on this document, sir?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Next document I have is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Ms. Rosado, is this your signature on this document also, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you. By signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney. So that in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes.
Mr. White, as attorney for Ms. Rosado, have you had enough time to go over this case with her? And in your opinion, is she mentally competent?
At least she's mentally competent, and I have had enough time.
Thank you. Ms. Rosado, are you a United States citizen, ma'am?
Yes.
And Mr. White, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
They have.
Pat, administratively, y'all gonna have to use my date and time and signature stamps on these documents. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
So that will be on the defendant's waiver of constitutional rights and court's admonitions and the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal, which should be marked as a plea bargain case and the defendant has no right of appeal.
Yes, Your Honor, I will do that.
Okay. And state, do you have any motions on this case?
We do not have any motions on this case.
Ms. Rosado, in clause 647-655 to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, ma'am?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Ms. Rosado?
There is, Judge. The agreement is taking into consideration the assault family violence case. The state is willing to reduce the DWI charge to obstruction of a public roadway. We asked the court to assess a fine of $500 plus court costs, assess 12 months deferred adjudication, a DWI education course, a victim impact panel, CAT SNP, Smart Start mobile for half the term, 40 hours community service, an APSE course, and a no harmful offensive contact with the victim, Your Honor.
We have the victim's name.
Your Honor, I do not have it. I do not have it in front of me, Judge.
Mr. White, do you know the individual's name involved in the ABI?
Yes, Judge, it's going to be her mother. Can you say her name?
Tracy Rosado.
And what is the, and I apologize, guys, I have a hard time hearing. What is the first, last name is Ibarra, correct? Ibarra?
Tracy Rosado.
Rosado, okay. And it's Francis, Francis?
Tracy.
Tracy, Your Honor.
Tracy, once again, I'm having a hard time hearing. Tracy Rosado, everybody agree?
Yes.
Your Honor.
And what is the case number of the ABI family or whatever that were TIC?
Do you have that, defense counsel?
It
It's
is,
669080.
yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and state, does your information already have two paragraphs on it? One, the first one alleging DWI first, the second one alleging obstruction of a highway, or do we need to amend the information and add the second paragraph alleging obstruction of the highway?
I believe we're going to need to amend the second paragraph here.
All right, so it's my understanding the state is going to move to amend the information, adding paragraph 2 alleging obstruction of a highway. Is that correct, state? Is that correct, John?
Yes,
I'm
it
sorry,
is.
yes, it is.
Yeah, okay, and defense, no objection from the defense, that will be granted. Now it's my understanding that the state is going to waive paragraph 1 alleging driving while intoxicated first offense and proceed exclusively on paragraph 2 alleging obstruction of a highway. Is that correct, Mr. Senheinrich?
It is, Your Honor.
All right, let me do a little writing here. Be right back with you.
Appreciate you.
Okay, so let's try again. Ms. Rosado, in cause 647-655 to the charge of obstruction of a highway, how do you plead, ma'am?
No contest.
Thank you. And Pat, the plea paperwork needs to be changed where the defendant's waiver of constitutional rights and court's admonitions is going to be for the offense of obstruction of a highway and not DWI.
Do it right now, Your Honor.
No problem. And it was 40 hours of community service. Is that right, John?
Judge, that is correct.
Thank you.
Judge, we have a question since the defendant is currently unvaccinated. Does this court give credit for getting vaccinated to satisfy the community service hours?
Okay. Okay, guys, let's see if I get this correct. Ms. Rosado, on cause 647-655, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of obstruction of a highway. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation. It says a $500 fine plus court cost, 40 hours community service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, Smart Start Mobile, or Life Safer home interlock at 4 blows a day for half the term, which is 6 months. APSE stress management course, where you have no contact, harmful, or injurious with Tracy Rosado, taking into consideration cause 669080, which is granted, it shall be dismissed. Anything further from the state of the defense of Ms. Rosado in 647-655?
Nothing further from the state, Judge.
Because we're asking for the community service hours, if she could be vaccinated to satisfy those hours.
And let me add, okay, I don't understand your question. She being vaccinated has some relationship to community service hours? I don't understand.
It's on the other course, Judge. If the client is not vaccinated, the courts would give credit towards the community service hours for being vaccinated. I was wondering.
We don't do that. If she'd like to join the military for about 4 years, we'll go ahead and probate it so for her. All right, nice try though, counsel. But I do recommend everybody get vaccinated. All right, anything further from the state of the defense of Ms. Rosado?
Nothing further from the state, Judge.
Nothing further.
We good, Mr. White?
Yes, Judge.
Is Susan with us? We need to talk to Ms. Rosado about probation, Pat.
Judge, I'm right here. I'll give her the instructions.
Go ahead.
I'll give them to her off camera because there's too much echo.
Okay.
Your Honor,
Yeah.
Mr. Piddle has just turned in the paperwork. The clerks will be scanning the paperwork to you
Okay.
in just a few minutes, and the prisoner is also there, so they'll be able to switch off with Mr. White, and they'll be on Zoom. So I'll let you know as soon as the girls send it to you.
Okay. As soon as Susan briefs up Ms. Rosado and Mr. White, they're excused. Thanks.
Okay. Mr. White, just leave it open so that Mr. Piddle and his client can sit there and use the laptop.
Judge, the defendant has been advised.
Thanks so much.
So rename this.